If you're staking your crypto thinking you're being smart with your money, you're actually leaving thousands of dollars on the table every single month. And I'm about to prove it to you with real numbers. You see, most crypto holders think that staking is the safe way to earn yield. 8% here, 3% there, 12% there. But what they don't realize is there's a massive opportunity cost they're paying. While you're earning your 10% staking rewards, there are people earning 60 to 80% on the same tokens that you are holding, as well as the same tokens you're staking. Now, I'm going to show you exactly why staking is a trap for serious crypto investors, but more importantly, what you can do about it and what smart money is doing instead of staking. Let's dive in. Now, I personally do not hold much money on centralized exchanges or centralized platforms like Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, and others. But if you do, that is number one risk right there: centralized exchange exposure. What happens if we see another FTX, another Celsius? And if you aren't familiar, those are times where people literally lost all their money in a second, couldn't withdraw, couldn't get their money out. The simple reason why is because the platforms got greedy and started using your money to make more money. But that money wasn't touching your pockets, it was touching theirs. So you were taking the risk, and at the end of the day, they got all of the reward. But diving into this, over on Coinbase, when you start to stake your assets, like let's just say I were to stake some of these assets right here, sure, I'll get 14% on Cosmos, I'll get 8% on Polkadot, but what you're not factoring in is the actual unlocking period. Imagine market top comes and you're ready to sell your assets this time around, but then you can't get out because you have a 2 to 3 week unstaking period. As you can see here on Atom, it is 25 days. So I would have to wait 25 days until I can actually access my Atom and sell it for US dollars and put that money into my bank account, which by then the market could have already completely turned around. With ETH, the typical time frame is going to be 7 to 10 days. With Cosmos, as we mentioned, it's 25 days. Some of these have shorter periods like 2 days. Even Solana is 5 days. So my point is, days matter in cryptocurrency. I mean, today alone, Ethereum is up 5.9%. On the week alone, it's up 13.4%. So days matter because you could be hitting an all-time high, but now you have to wait 5 days and the asset's already down 30% from its previous all-time high. So the reality is here, the safety that you feel is actually an illusion. It seems easy to just simply put your Ethereum, your Bitcoin into a staking pool, lock it up with no risk whatsoever, and you just get a couple percentage points. You're outpacing inflation, but truth be told, it is an illusion. You're taking on different risk for lower rewards. But that's not even what bothers me the most about staking. It's not just the low returns, the couple percentage points that you'll get. It's that crypto holders think that they're being conservative when they're actually missing the biggest wealth transfer and wealth building opportunity in the decentralized finance space. Now, before I show you what smart investors are doing instead, I want to share something with you. I've put together a complete breakdown of the system I'm personally using to generate 60 to 80% returns on my cryptocurrency assets and portfolio. I'm not talking about risky trading, chasing meme coins, or anything like that. It's called the DeFi Portfolio Optimization System, and I walk you through the entire strategy in a free training video. You can watch it right after this one, and the link is at the top of the description below. But I want to be very clear, DeFi is not some get-rich-quick scheme. It's a systematic approach that I've been using for 4 years. It's a wealth building opportunity, meaning it does require capital, and it's the same strategy that helped millions of crypto holders optimize their portfolios for consistent returns. Now, I want to show you a couple different things that you could be doing instead of staking. So the thing is, people have to trade assets, and normally if they go to Coinbase is the one that's kind of trading with them, providing the other end, whereas if they go to a decentralized exchange, maybe you've heard of the platform Uniswap. This is one of them. This is also known as the native or primary markets. So assets hit platforms like Uniswap, as well as Orca, Radium, and other platforms before they actually hit the centralized exchanges. The reason why is because Coinbase needs to see if they are going to pick up steam. Binance needs to see if this asset is going to be a success before they just go and start listing random assets that could lead to the exchange losing a ton of money. But you can access the primary markets directly using a DeFi wallet. And in this instance, you can trade through them. So let's just say you have some ETH that you want to trade for USDC. You're paying very, very minimal fees. And this is a huge reason why people actually do use the primary market, because they're paying roughly 0.3% on average in fees compared to the 3% in fees that they would pay over on a platform like Coinbase, Binance, or others. But in order to be able to trade this Ethereum for USDC, somebody has to give us the USDC. And that's where we introduce the concept of liquidity provision. Liquidity provision is where anybody can come to these primary markets and essentially allow these trades to happen by putting up Ethereum and USDC in what we would call a liquidity pool. So you can see right here, I'm putting in about $406,000 and I'm losing about $1,500 in this trade. Now, while that sounds like a lot of money, in perspective, it's only 0.3%. Whereas when you compare that to Coinbase's 3% trading fee, that's significantly lower. But I can be the person that gets that $1,500, that receives that trading fee. Now, pools require two assets because you have to trade between one or the other. And there's going to be people that trade some, say, Ethereum for wrapped Bitcoin for Ethereum. But in this instance, you could see this pool alone with just Ethereum and wrapped Bitcoin has a 29% APR. You will get 3% if you go and you stake your Ethereum, but you can get 29% by being in this pool. In essence, you're making your cryptocurrency work harder than if you just simply stake your assets. I do want to address the elephant in the room. You're probably asking yourself right now, isn't this riskier? And yes, it's riskier, but the risk-adjusted returns that you get on liquidity provision compared to staking are significantly better. And the reason why is because while you might be taking a couple more units of risk, you're getting significantly greater returns. We can't really get a return on our Bitcoin. We can get 3 to 4% on our Ethereum, which means that we are getting roughly 10 to 20x the return over here, but we are not taking 10 to 20x more risk. We're taking roughly 3 to 5x more risk. And we still have full exposure to the market. These are not using centralized platforms. The rug isn't going to get swept from under us or anything like that. But if you guys would like me to dive into kind of the risk behind these liquidity pools and liquidity provision in another video, feel free to let me know down below in the comment section. Drop a like and subscribe, notifications turned on. Now again, I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds more complicated than staking, and you're completely right. It is, but that's exactly why most people stick with staking's mediocre returns. They're missing out on real wealth building opportunities because they just want to play it safe and get their 3 to 5%. Now here's the thing, when you are just simply staking your assets, let's just say that you were doing 5% per year. On $50,000, assuming there's no growth, you're producing roughly $208 per month, and that builds all the way up to a whopping $218. So over the course of 12 months, you earn roughly $25.58 in staking rewards. Now let's translate it to, let's just say Ethereum, if that's what you're staking, or whatever asset you are staking. Even if you were to do double that, 10%, which is very, very unlikely, you are doing anywhere from $416 to $456 per month over the course of 12 months. But when we start to introduce some of these liquidity pools with a 30% APR, we're going anywhere from $12.50 per month our first month to roughly $16.40 per month in overall income by our last month. That's a total of $17,000 over the course of 12 months just off of these liquidity pools. Now again, this is a low risk scenario. This is Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin, the two lowest risk assets in the industry if we're looking at market cap. With that being said though, if we were doing 60% APR on an overall portfolio, which again is what I've been doing for the past couple years, it's what my clients have been doing for the past couple years, you could see that we're seeing roughly 80% growth on our portfolio over the course of 12 months. That right there is the compounding effect. But also our income is roughly $2,500 at the very beginning of this process and builds all the way up to $4,250 over the course of 12 months. So look, I get it. Staking feels safe because it's simple. Click a button, earn some yield, sleep well at night. But safe is relative, to be honest. What's really risky is leaving $40,000 per year on the table because you're afraid to learn a better system. What's risky is watching other crypto holders build serious wealth while you're stuck earning bank level returns on revolutionary technology. I mean, if we're being honest here, I can get more in a high yield savings account than I can in a lot of different staking projects for cryptocurrency. I think we all know that the crypto market moves pretty fast. The people that optimize their strategies early are going to be the ones that build generational wealth, whereas the ones that stick with these safe strategies are going to wonder what could have been and of course be left behind. So if you want to stop leaving money on the table, I'm going to leave that free training at the top of the description. It's the DeFi portfolio optimization system. I break down everything, the exact protocols I use, the risk management strategies, how to get started even if you've never done anything beyond basic staking. The link's going to be in the description. Hope you guys found some valuable information in here. Drop a like, subscribe, notifications turned on, and peace out.